Hello everyone, I warmly welcome all of y'all and a very good morning for those who are here to listen to our group presentation. We are looking forward today to speak about Saudi Aramco oil and gas. Firstly, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. I'm Hudayfi Shiraz here with y'all along with my group members Rizwan Abbas, Claudia Oroska, Hamza Tahir and Godwin Okodua. This group presentation was done after we had a very deep research about the company called Saudi Aramco Oil and Gas. Okay, so now let me give you a brief introduction about the company. Saudi Aramco Oil and Gas is one of the world's largest oil producers. It is officially known as the Saudi Arabian Oil Company, and the company is primarily state-owned and is based in Tehran, Saudi Arabia. It is one of the world's profitable company as well. The company was established in 1933 and the company engages in exploration, production, transportation and sale of crude oil with natural gas also. Not to be surprised, Amin Hassan Nasser is the lead executive of Saudi Aramco Oil and Gas and he is the president and the chief executive officer of the company. He also sits on its board of directors which is headed by Chairman Yasir Othman Al-Rumayyan. Now my colleague Rizwan Abbas will explain you about the international leadership practices in Saudi Aramco. Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning. I'm Rizwan Abbas. Today I'm going to present international leadership practice in an organization. Despite challenge and complexity of oil and gas sector, the series had aimed at delivering best possible outcome. He met the series of major challenges, launching the world's largest IPO, acquiring one of the world's largest petrochemical companies, and responding to the attack on Saudi oil facilities. Despite the enormous complexity of the industry and the oil market, he always managed to deliver an appropriate solution. According to Nasir, time after time, we have faced extraordinary challenges and time after time, we have found extraordinary solutions. Despite ever-present volatility and transitions, certainly add to the complexity of our business. Several key observations were made by Nasir, including the importance of harnessing advanced technology to address the global climate change, while highlighting the climate edge, technology-driven nature of the industry to attract, develop, and retain the talent needed. Nasir participated in plenary season with industry CEOs from ExxonMobil, Total, Petronas, and Woodside at a global level. Now, next slide will present by Hamza. Thank you.
Thank you, Rizwan. Now I'm gonna describe about my part, which is ethical dilemma in Saudi Aramco oil and gas. First of all, I'm gonna describe about the outbreak of COVID-19. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, the year 2022 and 21 will undoubtedly be remembered as one of the most difficult and challenging economic period in the recent history. The world economy was thrown into a disarray, resulting in a drop in energy demand and the major price volatility. No industry or company was immune into impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, including Aramco. So this next one I'm gonna describe about the impact of the ethical dilemma in Saudi Aramco oil and gas. With COVID-19 making daily work and life complex in a time of unprecedented global economic uncertainty due to COVID-19 pandemic, and following the viral outbreak in March, Aramco opted in to slash its capital expenditure for year to 25 to 30 billion US dollar, reduction of more than 12,000 billion of the previous year. Aramco reported a 44.4% plunge in year 2020 net profit as the coronavirus pandemic curbed global demand. As a result, the business has been obliged to postpone major expenses, projects in margin and complex and vary. Lower overall the production in order to satisfy the OPEC plus deals production restrictions. And at the end, despite the challenging operating climate, Aramco was able to take advantage of Saudi Arabia's new fiscal framework, which took effect at the beginning of 2020. The country lowered its base royalty charge from 20 to 15%, which will surely aid the corporation in the navigation the current challenging situation. The government will normally draw on Aramco bank sheet need. Thus, a drop royalty rate combined with the current economic crisis will have significant ramification for the Saudi Arabia budget. Thank you. That's my part. Now my other group member Hudafa gonna explain his part. The next one is
Thank you, Hamza. Now I am going to explain you about the management of the ethical dilemma in Saudi Aramco oil and gas. In the second half of the year, however, there were some signs of a moderate economic recovery as demand and prices for petroleum products improved. Aramco had clear strategies that included enhancement in several aspects, including innovation, social responsibility, digital transformation, cybersecurity, environmental control, energy, safety, quality, and others. Those strategies helped Aramco improve its results and achieve stakeholders' satisfaction. Aramco benefited from having previously adopted advanced technology and building a robust IT infrastructure, all of which allowed them to adjust quickly and enabled its employees who could work remotely to do so. Aramco monitor the situation closely every day, side by side, country by country, regularly in touch with their people with advice and guidance from the authorities in each of the jurisdictions in which they operate. All of sites Aramco have in place ongoing active prevention close programs as well as detailed contingency plans and leading medical support services to minimize risk and ensure they can provide the best possible care and limit contagion. The reliable production and supply of energy is the cornerstone of Aramco and their promise to customers, especially at challenging times like these. At every operating site, their prevention and contingency plans are designed to ensure business continuity so that they can continue to supply the world with the energy it needs. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. Now my colleague Claudia will explain you about the leadership style in the Saudi Aramco oil and gas.
Good morning everyone, my name is Claudia Orlowska and today I will be presenting about leadership style in Saudi Aramco. First of all, we will have a look at CEOs of the company throughout the years. Then I will explain company's leadership style and the reasoning for choosing a certain leadership style. Let's start from company's leaders. Saudi Aramco had so far 4 CEOs since the creation of the company. What is interesting, all the leaders share the same leadership features, and today we will focus on Mr. Nasser, who is current CEO of Saudi Aramco, and his leadership approach. Leadership style in Saudi Aramco. The company has transformational leadership and humanistic approach to leadership style. Mr. Nasser has transformational leadership approach. What does it mean? Transformational leaders focus on motivating people to achieve goals. It's about winning the hearts and minds of people, about motivation and inspiration, creativity, and long-term change wins. It is also about motivation, but by what's best for the company, and it's a pull leadership style. Let's have a look at humanistic leadership model. Humanistic leadership is about trusting others, being ethical, having compassion, and participating as a collective whole. A humanistic leadership system has a clear and aligned vision, mission, values, and expected behaviors. There should be a transparent communication and collaboration versus internal competition among the system members. In a humanistic leadership system, the organizational culture is caring and supportive, and people feel appreciated and included. The humanistic leader understands at a deep level that the most important business indicator is the level of joy and meaning that people have in their work. Now let's have a look at reasons for leadership style. Mr. Nasser is focusing on career development of his employees, considering the fact that the business is located in Saudi Arabia, where accessing talent is not easy. Mr. Nasser puts a lot of effort in education of his employees, even though it means sometimes sending them to universities to gain needed knowledge. In the next few years, Mr. Nasser would like the majority of his employees to be below the age of 30. He supports the company's program advisory board of young leaders. The program links the company's leadership with the opinions of young professionals. Mr. Nasser also supports the growing procurement needs of Saudi Aramco's SMEs, which is small to medium-sized enterprises, by advocating for accessibility, efficiency, and diversity in the supply chain. Mr. Nasser and his team of executives try to be involved in the discussion by participating in the World Economic Forums and developing country discussions. They try to enlighten the public about the role that Aramco Petroleum will continue to play until they can transition to renewable sources of energy. Mr. Nasser is already making an effort to protect the environment by investing in technologies that produce clean energy, such as renewable energy applications and next generation fuel engine interfaces. Thank you very much. That's the end of my part. Now my colleague will present their part.
I am going to present health and safety in Saudi Aramco oil and gas. In a video conference call with Saudi Aramco Riyadh refinery and distribution employees last week, Saudi Aramco President and CEO Amin Nasir reiterated that the health and well-being of every employee is important for the company business continually to plan to succeed. Aramco and its subsidiaries announced on April 1st its support for the Health Environment Fund for the Ministry of Health. with a total amount of SR 200 million. In line with the effort made by the government, the custodians of the two holy mosques to combat the outbreak of COVID-19 and supporting the initiative of the Ministry of Health to confront this global pandemic out of national responsibilities. Considering its position as a pillar for national and global economics, Saudi Aramco has taken a number of measures to ensure the continuity of its business while maintaining the safety of its employees and their work environments. These procedures include directing many employees to work remotely from their homes, intensifying sterilization efforts in office and facilities, and adhering to standard health practice at work site, as well as following the instructions of the authorities. Now next slide will present by Godwin. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you everyone for that presentation. That was indeed a great one. So we head towards the recommendation. Under the recommendation, we have the long-term recommendation and short-term recommendation. What's long-term recommendation? Long-term and recommendation are this recommendation that will take the company for years, for decades. Then the short-term recommendation, these are what we need to do. It's an immediate effect that the company did now that the dilemma is in place. So under the long-term recommendation, we were saying our first point was that there should be aim at reinforcing its competitive position. So whenever they have a competitive position and opposite competitive competition, we all know that Saudi Aramco Oil and Gas is not just the only oil and gas. There are other competitive companies with Saudi Aramco Oil. So if they're able to compete positions and build up and reinforce an upstream and downstream operation, it will be very better for that. Then the other one was the company need to move, change, and expand into areas that will not only make it more agile and responsive, but also lead the industry into an energy future. So in that case, there should be a global awareness on the Aramco oil and gas. The reason why is that when all the whole countries is having this company, then their production will be more, their sales will be much in order to what overcome this dilemma during COVID-19 epidemic. So from there we'll move down to the short-term recommendation. So what are the short-term recommendations? Say the situation must be carefully analyzed. I mean very, very must be carefully analyzed. In some case they say the existence of the dilemma can be logically refuted. They have to look at it logically. We have to sit down and watch what can we do under this dilemma that we are facing. Are you getting? So they have to look at it and know what to do and know exactly how to do it just for the short term. So that brings us down to the conclusion of the whole thing. Under the conclusion, we say lesson should be learned from the experience, and ethical reflection should be developed in order to anticipate a potential new epidemic, the close or more distant future. So we should be able to learn from the past or epidemic and what happened, what brought down the downfall of the company, and so on and so forth. So before I close everything, I would like to give a more appreciative upload to all my colleagues who have put in their best, making sure that this live is being concluded and be well presented. So it's a Hanifa who did the introduction, Riwan who did the international leadership, the ethical dilemma was being handled by Hamza, the impact of the technical dilemma was being handled by Hamza, the management of the technical dilemma was being handled by Hanafi, leadership styles will also be handled by Kaladia. Then I, Godwin Okodwa, handle the recommendation. I don't know whether there's any question, guys, that you want to ask me. I will definitely feel free to ask and we'll push the answer right down to you.